It has gotten crazily insane, much better. The difference really is the democratization of the technology. So when this was made using a lot of high-end GPU. It took a lot of time to create this. I'm going to show you that you can make something similar in like, I don't know, 5 minutes now. It's going to be, it's pretty exciting in that sense. And scary all at the same time. All right, why do we need to care about deepfakes? Statistics by the numbers. Average cost of creating a deepfake is about $1.33. It's very easy to reach it across social media, so you're talking 0.07 cents on the dollar to reach 100,000 social media viewers or views. You can imagine the rate in which you can get this out when you're talking about a 24/7 news cycle and how that can be used by threat actors to do some bad things, right? We're talking, last year they talked about having over $1 billion, right, in deepfake fraud. And the headlines kind of show some case of this, right? It's probably not as prolific as some of you are seeing because a lot of it's not making the headline news, but we are seeing it being used in corporations, which is starting to get there. You see a lot of deepfake use on the personal level, either individuals and not necessarily corporations. Threat actors after specific individuals, older generation. You see a lot of it through texting, vishing, and then all of a sudden deepfakes on top of that. Pretty interesting. Okay. How bad is it? Well, if you look at the numbers, the rise of deepfake is directly correlated with the rise of AI, right? Which makes sense, because we use AI to create a lot of our deepfakes. So deepfake growth you see has grown over 550%. You see 95,000 videos were created around deepfakes just in this last year. You see it being weaponized all over the place. And statistics go on and on. But I like having these slides up there so that people can take pictures and say, well, look what I learned about deepfakes, and use it in their presentations, right? All right, weaponized deepfakes. So a couple of things that have come out in the news recently. You got Skinny Hunter. This is fairly new, October 7th, right? Corporate extortion, pretty interesting. If you haven't read the article on Krebs, I would recommend you do so. You've got, gosh, when was this one? Okay, the Brazilian scammers on Gazelle deepfakes. That's pretty interesting for Instagram ads. You've got the deepfake, the $25 million payout with the CEO through deepfaking. That was a pretty big one on a Zoom call. So a lot of different weaponization of deepfakes that are occurring. You see a lot also on the AI audio side. Our good friend Tay was also deepfaked at one point in time. And that really got her base concerned. And so now, because Tay has such a large base, the government's concerned about deepfakes. Before Tay, deepfakes didn't matter. But there's a lot of other things, right? So the robocalls from Biden, that was a big one that was going on during the election cycle at the time. You're hearing about voice actors and video actors or cinema actors also concerned about the use of their image and voice in different videos. And because it's so easy to make these days using their voice, using their images, a lot of concern around that. For a while, Spotify had the #1 song was created from a deepfake. If you hadn't heard about that, that was kind of interesting before it was taken down. And you'll see this augmentation of deepfake music. For those music lovers out there and thinking that, you know, they can't produce the soul that the music has, well, you know, times are changing, and that may change eventually as well, because AI is smart enough to understand synaptic patterns and how people think about certain types of emotion or get emotion, and they can look at influctuation points in people's voices to understand, hey, this person's angry, this person's sad when these things are said. Therefore, I'm going to take this information, generate some AI song, and make you feel good about yourself. Yeah. It's a scary thought, but it's also true, right? AI disinformation, again, you're seeing a lot of this being used. Weaponization, especially around government politics. Seems to be like the #1 place to use AI deepfakes right now is around government. And I was always surprised that I thought you would see much more use of deepfakes in terms of stock market manipulation, right? So the concept of you have a CEO saying like, hey, we're selling the company or whatever the case may be. And it's easy enough to short something, right, based off of some news that you can get out fairly easily. Not that I'm telling you how to make your money, but in case you're worried about AI, you need some money really quick, you know, maybe you can do that. Not saying you should do that, though. We wouldn't talk about things like that. All right. So what's new in deepfakes? Some of that stuff was fairly older. I want to talk about kind of what's new on deepfakes. You know, I wasn't sure exactly why John put me on stage 1, but now I feel like I've realized what is the answer to that, and it's because I think John realized I'm fairly short, and so I don't block the screen when I'm walking. So I think that's why I'm here. Otherwise, my talk isn't that interesting. Anyways, all right, well, so what's changed? Enhanced realism. I'm going to showcase a little bit of that today, just from ease of use. Full body multimodal synthesis. So now we're looking at deepfake modeling that's occurring, that's taking multiple images, taking that and using that to create much better models of deepfakes moving forward, and multimodal synthesis associated with that. The real-time generation. So it used to be you can only do things where you would record it and then play it back, right? But now you're seeing live deepfaking. I will be very honest with you. When I was researching and trying to get the best laptop to kind of showcase live deepfaking, they still suck. The video cards just aren't good enough. So I'm going to do a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as good as the stuff that you can actually do on a desktop associated with this. And then deepfake evasion tools are pretty impressive these days as well. So the deepfake is smart enough to know that others are using AI to analyze it, and it looks at those AI patterns that the AI is using to look at the deepfake and the metadata, and so it scrubs itself from that, making itself more difficult to look at. But we're going to talk a little bit about some AI detection technologies that exist out there as well. All right. Some of these statistics you already saw earlier, but I wanted to talk about the scams, right? Because that's kind of a big key component as to why we need to concern ourselves about deepfakes. 31% of all incidents that target an individual now involve deepfakes. A pretty impressive number. That's not to say there isn't the traditional phishing and texting scams that exist out there, but deepfake scams are occurring at a much higher precedence rate. We are starting to see that definitely on the voice side at the university, so deepfake voice coming through, being used, especially against your service desk, people that aren't familiar, people that like to hide their accents can use deepfakes to do that, to sound more US-based, and that's part of the reason why they're doing those things. Or if you're male and you want to sound female, very good for doing those components as well. And the live ability to transfer or change audio is very good right now. So things that you need to concern yourself about if you kind of live in the enterprise space. If not, it's fun to play on Discord and change your voice, right? It always sounds, it's great when you sound like a 10-year-old girl and you're teabagging on some person on Fortnite, right? Those things are fantastic, right? Well, you know, they just introduced K-pop demon hunters, right? So I mean, you need to sound like a girl when you're doing those things, right? It only makes sense. All right, what else can I tell you? Financial, 25 million in loss, right? That's a pretty significant number. In 2024, you'll see those numbers again increasing. And of course, that was a big one that happened. The other one statistic I think is worthwhile mentioning is this public trust, right? 68% of those familiar with generative AI, right? Concerned about being deceived. And I think the threat is real. For those that aren't familiar with the technology, for those that are looking at it on a smaller screen, it is harder to determine, harder to see the differences when it comes to deepfakes. When you blow things up, you know, the graininess, some of those things will pop out. But again, the technology is only getting better, right? So we need to figure out ways to defend ourselves against deepfakes now. Okay. I guess it's demo time. All right, so I'm going to start by showing you guys the old stuff. Because the old stuff is interesting because it kind of describes or showcases how deepfakes are created. So for those of you who have never seen this, this is something called Deepfakes Live. It is open source. And the things I want to point out here is not necessarily how good the deepfake technology is right here, because this is a little bit antiquated, quite honestly. But what it does showcase you is how deepfaking works. So you start off with, on the left-hand side, you have a camera source. Here I'm just using a HP video cam or a webcam, nothing special here, the 920. It's like most popular Logitech that makes, right? Now you have on the second column the face detector. This is where it is looking at different points in the face to understand depth and perception of the face that you're trying to deepfake, right? Kind of moving forward. From here you have the face aligner, making sure that it is putting the face properly in frame. And you also have now on the third point, what I'm doing here is what's called face swap insight. This is taking a picture that I have. In this case, if those of you that can't recognize it, or maybe it's a little bit too small, let me bring it up here. I thought it was best to showcase my best John Johnson. So this is from a picture of John. As you can see, John normally has more white hair. But that's something that's interesting about deepfakes right now as they exist today. So deepfakes is really about the face, but it cannot do things like hair, right? So if you want to look more like the person or you want to look like a different person, you have to wear a wig at this point. Those things, again, those technologies are changing, but the facial recognition component and inputting the face, right, and doing the face swap, that technology is fairly decent. And then finally, you have here on the end the face merger, right, where we're taking my face, injecting the picture of John, and I'll just showcase, this is the picture I have of John, and this is where we get to, right, at this end state. So, whoops. Let's do that one more time. Yep, there we go. Yeah, and so then you end up with what John Johnson would look like as an old Asian guy, right? So what can we tell about this technology right here, right? So there's a couple things that you'll notice. One, obviously I am a darker complexion than John. John doesn't get a lot of sun. He's from Iowa, and he normally burns, right? I don't. And so the deepfake has a bit of trouble in terms of contextualizing the right pigment here, right? That is needed to really showcase off, my best John Johnson. The other thing that you'll notice here is it has a problem dealing with my glasses, right? If you notice on the left side, my glasses are very dark, right? You can see it on my face. But on the right-hand side, it almost looks like the glasses kind of disappear. You can kind of see the glasses, but then they're kind of not there, right? So it has a problem interpolating the glasses and what to do with that in terms of the image. If I take my glasses off, actually the picture becomes a little bit better, right? If you notice that. But again, if I have my glasses on, not so much, right? So little nuances like that, again, thinking about how you're going to be able to detect a deepfake or not. These are just some of those things that you have to kind of concern yourself about. Okay, I'm going to move past this. Now let's get to where some of the fun can happen. So some of the newer technology, and I'll go through with you guys how to actually create a pretty easy to do deepfake. It doesn't cost you money, and it'll take like 30 seconds, right? So here's John in all his glory, talking about the GCSI conference. I'm going to only play a little bit of this just so you get a sense of it, right?
Hello, I'm John Johnson. I'm excited to be moderating the Highly Regulated Industries panel at the 2024 GCSI conference in Chicago.
Okay, so step one, you gotta find a picture and a video source, an audio source of the person you want to deepfake, right? So here's John, he's on YouTube, and I can say, well, fantastic. Now I got a picture of John, I got his voice, he's talking for all of a minute and 16 seconds here, right? So, next step, take a picture of John, right? So I don't have a picture of John today. I'm going to go ahead and snip him, right? And I'm going to say, hey, I need to know how to use a snipping tool. All right. Blammo, right? Now I've got John. I've got a picture of him. I can start using that information to help drive the face. And this is exactly what I did with that other technology that you saw, right? The Deepfake Face Live, right? So that's how you start. You get your picture of John. Now, if you want John to say something, you want him to do something different than what I have, or trying not to deepfake it live, and you just want a video of it, very easy to do, right? So you can come over here, and you can go to dreamfaceapp.com. This is one of the newer technologies, newer tools that are out there, and fairly easy. So for the sake of time, you see that I uploaded this picture of John already, right? Same picture, as you can tell. Nothing's really changed from that perspective. And we're going to say, well, what do we need John to say here? Pretty simplistic in terms of its interface. You upload a picture, and you say, hey, let's, what do we want John to say? John's a pretty happy guy. What do you think we should have John say for us? Hello, world. Wow. What sucks? DEF CON sucks. Okay. Let's try that. All right. Hello, world. DEF CON sucks. And so does Fred, right? Because, John never has anything good to say to me. We need to do something realistic, and John never has anything good to say to me. So here we go. So we're going to change the voice. In this specific case, I already uploaded John, and just remember what our John voice is. Here we are.
Hello, welcome to Dreamface.
Right?
Hello, welcome to Dreamface.
We took John's voice.
Hello, welcome to Dreamface.
We did a MP3 to, a YouTube to MP3 conversion. We have John's voice in here, and now we're just going to generate. So how easy is it to generate a video of John? Well, depending if the demo gods work, it should be fairly simple. If not, you can see I've already pre-generated some John videos. But let's give it a minute. All right, so here's John. Oh.
Hello, world, defont sucks, and so does Fred.
All right. So, it's fairly hard because it's only a few seconds there. If we want to say, have John say something a little bit longer, it's easier to tell that the voice is actually fairly decent, right, in this scenario. Let's, which one? What's my newest one? Let's try this one. 10:39:41. Oh no, let's try this one.
A community founded.
All right.
Hello, welcome to CornCon, a community founded annual Midwest cybersecurity conference, Kids Hacker Camp held in Davenport, Iowa, featuring expert speakers, workshops, hacker villages. I'd like to thank Dr. Kwong for taking the time out of his busy schedule to be with us today to talk about deepfakes. As you can see, it is a timely topic, and I hope you learn about how to detect and defend against them. With that, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Kwong.
All right. So, fairly decent, right? Again, we know it's fake because John would never say anything nice about me. But outside of that, the voice, the inflection, the other thing that you'll notice is it starts putting in some some pauses in there that would be more humanistic in nature. When the original audio deepfakes came out, it didn't understand those pauses that we do when we speak, right? Those inflections that we do. And it still has some problems with inflection at times. You can train the model to be better, but it's not too bad. And that took all of, what, 30 seconds to make? And it didn't even cost me anything. That's the other nice thing about deepfakes now. You can have models out there that are easy to access, doesn't cost you much, and you can create a message however you want, right? You can see that this can be very powerful if you want to create, for example, training videos, those types of things as well. So there are good things to using this type of technology, especially if you want to deepfake yourself. If you ever recorded yourself talking for a long period of time, I don't know about you, but I say so many ums and you knows and filler words. I'm a terrible speaker in that sense. But you know what? I don't have time to go to Toastmasters. What I do have time is to shove my stuff into deepfake audio and put my picture up there, and I can record myself, and now I have a very nice presentation where I sound humanistic in nature, I sound professional, and I don't pause at all the wrong times like I'm doing in this speech. Right. Okay. So now you saw how I can use John. You saw how I can use video. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how some of these things can come together. Now, this technology, this is something called Magic Cam. And this is the next iteration of deepfaking technology that is pretty decent. All right. There are a couple of things that I cannot demo very easily for you. The first one is voice changing. Because if you ever try talking and you have something else pulling your voice down, you are going to hear reverb echoing for the life of you, and you guys will hate me. So we're not going to do that. But know that it exists. Know that you can do it. And the power of this technology right here is that it is a click and go technology, which also makes it very scary, right? So once this loads, and it may fail because I have my other deepfake stuff up. Hang on, let me close this stuff down. You'll be able to see that I can deepfake John, I can change his voice, and all in one go, and then I can then broadcast this through a virtual camera over to a Teams call, over to a Zoom call, whatever the case may be, right? We're talking about one-click technology now to do these things. And again, all I needed was that minute, actually I need closer only 30 seconds of someone's voice. I needed video of John, I needed a picture of John, and boom, there we go, right? Now I can deepfake John on Zoom calls. or whatever the case may be. If you want to have some fun, and you ever want to present to the board and deepfake one of them, fantastic. The bad idea. Fantastically bad idea. Do not do that. One, it's going to look really weird. Two, you're going to freak the people out like there's no tomorrow. All right, so let's go back. I think my camera's loaded. All right, you see me here. I'm going to swap in my favorite gentleman, Mr. John Johnson, Dr. John Johnson. And John's seen better days, again. But notice the technology change here. Notice how my glasses actually look like glasses. So the technology, again, has gotten better. And there's a couple things you'll notice here. One, my FPS is terrible. This is due to my graphics card, right? If you have a much better graphics card that can handle the deepfake, you'll see that it can run at a much higher FPS percentage, right? And the other piece that you'll see here is voice change, right? So again, well, I'd love to be able to demo this stuff for you. What I would encourage you to do is go ahead and play with this technology. It exists out there. The free version, you can play around with, you can pretend to be Morgan Freeman, right, like we were before. And we can face swap into him. And again, what I'm trying to showcase here is the leaps and bounds the technology has made since I started first talking about deepfakes. All right. So, I'm going to turn this down and get back to my slides. All right.